Hello there. So, yeah, this is for my Sing When You're Winning podcast, and I've just met Stephen. How are you, Stephen?
Hello, how you doing?
And yeah, I've just seen you've got a bit of a thing going with BBC,
Yeah.
an interview with them, and it's regarding. Sorry, will you explain it for me?
I'm a recently bereaved parent. My little girl Freya died in June last year. So Blackburn Rovers Community Trust and a couple of local charities have come together and created a group for bereaved dads to come together every week and support each other, play football together at the indoor centre at Ely Park. Obviously, the main focus on the back of a loss of a child is on the mothers, and rightfully so. Obviously, they go through a lot, but there's not a great deal of support for the dads. So the charities have come together and have chosen to back the bereaved dads locally. So there's currently a group of 8 of us who come together every week. We play a little game Friday nights, and then we come to games as and when available, and just get together and look out for each other, and just try and support each other the best we can.
You're actually going on the pitch today, aren't you?
Apparently so, yeah. So Friday we got to the indoor centre. The BBC were there doing a bit of filming, and the girl from the Community Trust came up and said, "Oh, by the way, you're going to go on the pitch on half time Saturday." And we were like, "Oh, brilliant, right, great," and a bit of fear in the eyes, sort of thing.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, we get to the half time draw, and then they're going to speak a little bit about our group, and hopefully we can potentially speak and reach out to someone in the crowd who has been through what we have, and they can come to the group and support.
We was at Fleetwood game the weekend, and I don't know if you heard about the 15-year-old who got stabbed in Sheffield. He was a Fleetwood fan, and his family's from Fleetwood. As far as I know, I don't want to speak wrongly of that, but yeah, obviously they're going to be bereaved obviously now, aren't they?
Absolutely,
you know? And it was brilliant. Even the referee stopped the play at 15th minute. It's 15, and there was a round of applause for him, and it's really good to capture them kind of things.
Comes together when there is loss, when there is something tragic that happens within the community. Football does come together. It's a fantastic little community within a club, and then the wider community really does come together.
I've noticed quite a lot today. You know, I mean, this community feel.
Yeah,
the outside area is really good.
Fans on busy.
Fans on's really good.
Blackburn as a community club is fantastic. Really, the amount they do within the local community of Blackburn with Darwin, it's so good. Like the community trust, they chose to back our little group, where they could go and back a group that supports mental health, that supports homelessness, disabilities.
We do cover quite a bit of mental health on ours. I mean, I've just given up an addiction, a couple of addictions, to stop drinking.
Fantastic.
Which is, it's only early doors, but I'm keeping with it since Boxing Day.
Fantastic, well done.
And it's something, you know, I'm pretty proud of. And
it should be.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a good thing, you know. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
No
Stephen.
problem, mate.
Cheers,
Thank you for your time.
And you. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Right, that was really good, that. Thank you. Cheers, Stephen.
City are back. City are back. Hello. Hello.
Enjoy. And big time. 4-0.
Only
4-0.
Possibly for a brief moment in time, right? Obviously, midweek we got beat by Madrid, only by our own mistakes, our own undoing. We're 2-1 up and then we throw it away, you know what I mean? I don't understand it, but going back to yesterday, what a great game. What a great game. Omar Mamouche, hat-trick. He's, we were singing the song before the game, and I don't like this because he's not even scored yet. When he gets a ball, he scores a goal. Mamouche, Mamouche, Mamouche.
It was a prophecy.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? They were singing it prior to him scoring. He's not even scored for us yet, and there we go, 3 in a row.
Sucked it into the net. So, yeah, the signings look good, obviously including him.
Yeah. Arlen didn't even get a goal, but he assisted for a couple. And, I've got a little bit of footage from Tuesday night, v Madrid, his penalty. Now, we'll do that as the outro, if that's all right, right?
Totally. Absolutely.
I've got a bit of footage from yesterday, plus what I got from Tuesday. So if we do that as the outro with, albeit it's always been the intro, Sing When You Win It. It's not all about you, you know.
Yeah.
We've never had it as the outro yet.
Double whammy. It's not all about you, you know, sandwich. Brilliant.
Well, yeah, so that's kick-started the show. episode 15.
Wow.
And we're going to be revisiting episode 14, Blackburn Rovers. And obviously, I think the intro is going to be me little interview with Stephen. And what I've done, I've gone back to Blackburn Rovers, a community trust there.
Yeah.
And I've got Stephen's number. And I've got him to come on the show this week, Ray.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I know it's going to be deeply meaningful, emotional. And I know you'll share a bit about that. Remind me, halftime is partly, isn't it, from that discussion that you had?
Yeah, no, sorry, halftime. Yeah. The intro is going to be Stephen at the beginning, introducing him if you would. And halftime is going to be the chat that I had with at the Marine Hall.
Ian
Hooper, and another community trust rate.
It's a theme, isn't it?
It is, and we are. You know what I mean? We do like to keep these things rolling, don't we?
I think I'm grateful that you say we, but I just have to slightly disagree with you because I think it's you. I think obviously I'm working with you and encouraging that, but you're putting in the kind of the roving reporter, community advocate. That's a phrase as well. You're out and about, and that's drawing all of the things that you're sharing. So that halftime part is another evidence of you being out and about, and in your local community with people who are wanting to support and encourage others. So yeah, it's absolutely brilliant, and I think with Stephen later as well, it's going to be amazing.
I'll be honest, Ray. I always include yourself anyway because we do it together. You know what I mean? But yeah, roving reporter out and about again. This was Friday night, by the way. Friday afternoon before I went and played footy. But I found out that Coastal Radio was over at the Marine Hall in Fleetwood.
Yeah.
And it was like a job share, a job fair, where the police were there. I shit myself and I turned up. There's police everywhere and I'm thinking, why are they here? But yeah, basically, obviously, trying to get people to enroll in the police. There was colleges there. There was, like I say, Coastal Radio there, people getting involved with media side of things, So, yeah, I got a good interview with Ian Hooper, and then I got another interview with Connor, who's part of the Community Trust of Fleetwood and the Wire Council. And there was another lady there, Shabs, who I've known for a long time. She didn't want to be in the interview, unfortunately, but she worked so hard, and what I know anyway, she's been through it herself, and now she's helping people. And this is where, you know what I mean? This is where this podcast is actually going, because it is all about, helping each other out, you know what I mean? When you've been there, it's good to be able to pass it back on to people. And obviously, Stephen will cover that later. On the extra time one yesterday that we put out, right? I ended up getting up Dazza, who's a good follower of yours on TikTok, yeah?
Yeah.
And it was just by chance, to be honest with you. Tyler, my apprentice roving reporter, unfortunately, his signal went down. He was on his way to Bromley, by the way. Fleetwood versus Bromley. He goes to every away game, as you know. He's a loyal fan, and unfortunately, we lost 1-0 at Bromley. But he was going to do the podcast. It was going to be live on TikTok, and it was going to be part of the extra time. Unfortunately, his reception went, and was only about 10 minutes in. Excuse me, drop of water. And unfortunately, he went down, couldn't get back hold of him. So I'd give a shout out on TikTok message. Anybody who wants to join me now, TikTok live. Anyway, Dazza tipped up and said, I'll do it. And I went, go on then. And obviously, check back on extra time, people. It's not an episode, it's just episode 5, I think it is, of extra time.
That's right. He's an Arsenal fan, isn't he, Dazza? Is that right?
He is an Arsenal.
Also, I think, as I understand it from his comments in the lives that I've done, a mental health nurse.
Yes.
So there's another element and aspect of, you know, what you're doing and how you're connecting with people. I was also thinking as well, because it just popped into my mind, is Phil, is it Bowker, his surname at Fleetwood?
Yes, yeah.
So there was another example when we had the sit down, which, if I'm honest with you, I can't remember which episode number it is, but he's like a community ambassador at Fleetwood Town.
CSO.
Yeah, so that's really definitely 100% a theme now that is the essence of what you're doing. There's very much mental health awareness. There's what's happening in the community side of football teams and a variety of them. There's, of course, music, lots of interviews with people dotted over the weeks that we've been together doing this. There's the football side of things, but lots of different teams. So it's a really, really... Those are the core parts. Those are the core parts of the philosophy of the Sing When You're Winning podcast.
Of course, and the content's brilliant. I think it's amazing, right? Going back to football and Phil Bowker, he asked me to play Friday night. Wish I hadn't. I seen him at the Fleetwood game and he was limping around, funnily enough. And I said, what's up with you? You've been playing footy? He went, yeah, we always play on a Friday night. And I went, get me involved then. And he went, yeah, we'll do. Anyway, got a message Thursday night, do you want to play Friday? So I went along, scored my own little hat-trick actually, as well as Mamouche.
Nice.
Rolling back the years, Ray. Yeah, I mean, I can still do it at 50. I'll be honest, I was in pain. I tried to walk around.
Sorry.
Oh, I know, but
just the way you said it.
I was in pain. You know, when I think you was on your TikTok live yesterday, and I said, I'm not damaged, but I'm broken.
Yeah. Oh, bless you. I did see it. I did see your comment.
Well, be honest, I'm feeling all right today. Whereas, normally, if you've not done out for a bit, it's usually 2 days after you feel it. Mm-hmm. But I felt it yesterday, and I feel great today, I'll be honest.
Good man.
I'm not saying I could play this afternoon or out, but...
Well, there's a little bit of that footage in extra time, isn't there? So, the extra time 5. So, again, another mixed bag of different elements. And I think as the weather improves, and I know you're not a fair weather person, you'd be out in all weathers, you would, for definite, yeah. But I think there's going to be a little bit close up in the future, as in I think that would be a nice feature. I know you've talked about this, where perhaps a little bit skill based and a bit more kind of up close with the ball and that type of thing with a couple of local people. I tell you what, this is an idea. So you don't have to commit to saying it. I kind of feel there would be an opportunity for that to be an interview-based opportunity of somebody who's working in community support and, of course, has that football interest. So what I'm seeing is you on a pitch with somebody doing a little bit of skill-based football side of things and also talking about things that are happening in the community and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Almost kind of at the same time, if that makes sense. That would be really, really
varied. I don't know if I've told you this before. I was talking to it with City fans on the coach yesterday. What I want to do is Soccer AM So basically, the lads on the same pitch that we was playing on yesterday, which is the rugby club at Fleetwood, they've got a 6-a-side pitch, which is AstroTurf. The setup is exactly the same as Soccer AM. And I want people to come down and watch, right? So we'll have an audience watching, and we'll be doing similar sort of traits of Soccer AM, you know what I mean, little school bits. There'll be a penalty shootout with questions and answers.
That's it. Yeah. So you've already got the idea. Absolutely.
I've already got the. I mean, obviously, I've nicked it off Soccer AM, but
Yeah.
it ain't going anymore, and I want to bring it back. I want to bring it back, and I think it'd be brilliant for this podcast.
You know the drill. Yeah.
You know the drill. Nutmegs.
Yeah, fantastic.
But yeah, no, that's what I want to do, right? And I think, it's all right now. It's looking sunny outside.
It's getting there, isn't it?
It's getting there. So as soon as it does, I mean, I'll be honest, I played on Friday night, picked up a bit of a cold. I don't know if it was a cold or not, but it was a bit Mario Balotelli, allergic to artificial grass. And he plays his fucking class. But yeah, Balotelli, he was brilliant, by the way. But he did actually play a game on artificial grass, and he just had an allergy to it.
Do you know what? I don't think I knew that. I'm trying to remember the writing on the shirt underneath the shirt. Why is it always me or something? I can't remember what it said. You'd know.
Why always me? Yeah.
Why always me? So pretty much, yeah. Why always me? So interesting. I
I'll
never
be
knew
honest.
that. I never knew that about the artificial grass. I don't think I.
There's definitely something in it, right? Because I could not stop sneezing pretty much half an hour into the game till about an hour after.
So I wonder if that's why you're how you are now, and maybe it's not a cold then. Perhaps it's an allergic thing.
Yeah,
maybe.
well, I don't know. But
anyway, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor.
The why always me bit as well. I can relate to that as well because my mum and dad used to say it to me. Well, no, I used to say it to them. Why always me? I felt like I was picked on as a child.
Oh, right, okay.
And that's where the Balotelli came from.
Yeah.
As well, the T-shirt. Why always me? But yeah. Obviously we've got better strikers than that now. Even though he was class.
A new kid on the block. Block. Tell us a little. Yeah, tell us a little bit, Paul, about because it is going to be. I think it's going to be a mixed second half in the podcast, episode 15, Sing When You're Winning podcast. The subscribers are growing, so we always want to remind people: comment, like, subscribe, become involved, suggest. Be a part of the community movement that's growing here. And I think a part of that is, of course, we're going to go back to Fleetwood last week, where you had that meeting, and then moving forwards to a meeting you had with Stephen, and he agreed to do an interview. And I think if you can just prepare us a little bit for the other side of half time, if you get me, for when Stephen is with us.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So basically I went to Blackburn last week, episode 14, FA Cup against Wolves. It unfortunately got beat. And basically I grabbed Stephen. He was, in fact, if you remember, I followed him into the toilet.
Yeah, I remember you sharing. So that would have been in episode 14. But we're going to use that as an intro as well, aren't we? So we'll have the normal intro in, and then we're going to have a kind of a little bit of a look back at your chat with Stephen. Yeah,
but I was luckily, obviously, to me being me, obviously, I wanted to get him on this episode,
Yeah.
So I've got in touch with, I was obviously messaging all Blackburn Rovers and all that, and I got in touch with the Community Trust, Fatima, she's called Fee, and she basically passed my details on to Steve, and he's got in touch with me, and we are going to revisit episode 14 with him because of the cause that of the community trust that they've got at Blackburn with bereaved fathers. Now, obviously, I give you a little bit of an intro before off air of basically what happened. Unfortunately, he lost his child pre-birth, 10 weeks to go to birth, Ray. And it's it's Freya. She was going to be named, and unfortunately 10 weeks to go, problems occurred, and and lost a child. You know what I mean? It's shocking. And he had the interview with him last week at episode 14, and he's agreed to come on the programme and talk more about it. And it's great of him. He's a really good guy, as we've seen anyway. And then I've told him, obviously, we'll talk about it, obviously, and what the community trust is doing for him. And then we will talk about Blackburn Rovers, and they're going all right as well at the minute.
Excellent. That's really good, and that sounds a good balance. Of course, you know, like I said, it's going to be emotional, and it should be, Of course, that goes without saying. But I think, am I right in saying that Stephen is also, of course, doing work himself as a result of course, the tragic experience they had, that he's working with the community support at Blackburn?
Well, the community trust are actually helping him, right?
Got you.
I don't know if you've actually got mixed up with Just Asa there, because can we just touch back on that?
Yeah, of course.
Rewind a little bit, but I didn't realise, but when I was talking to Just Asa, we'll call him Dazza, the Arsenal fan, I didn't realise I touched on me giving up the drink. And he is 5 years in. He gave up in 2020 following the passing of his mother. And I know, obviously, the episode 14, the extra time, right? Extra time yesterday when I got him on the show, he was touching on that, and the song for his mother's funeral that he sung was the song Buy Bread.
Yeah, and it's Everything I Own. Yeah.
And well, we obviously touched on yourself because you've sung that song, haven't you, on your TikTok live?
With his recommendation,
yes.
His wish, basically, and it's become a definite thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, obviously we touched on that, and obviously I spoke to him afterwards, but obviously his love for you and that song, and his obviously his mother's passing is brilliant. You know what I mean? That in itself is good. But 5 years in from not drinking, he's now helping other people. And I think that's where we got the little mix up there with Stephen. But no, he's the one who's actually doing the support for people.
Yeah, got you. Well, that's just, and again, you know, I personally, I will share everything I've just shared. I have no problem with that at all, because what I mean by that is I'm experiencing what you're achieving. And because there are so many people around you, and there are, in my own way, many people around me, it's at times playing catch up with everything that's happening. But I think that's a wonderful experience to be in, because that's better than quite simply doing nothing. And I think, you know, your efforts to reach out to people and where that's going, and then I'm, you know, picking up threads of that and moments of that and thinking, wow. And that's what these episodes are for. They really are for the progress of what's happening and the people that are doing what they're doing. And then, of course, that creates the opportunity for people to become involved in that.
Like I say, right, the content's really good. Sometimes, obviously, I like it to be light-hearted, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm like?
Yeah.
I love the game. I love what we do, the football and the music. But then we have now got this other side.
It's both.
Community side and mental health awareness, you know what I mean? We do like to mix it up a bit. And I think we're definitely covering it in this episode 15.
Brilliant. So I'll see you after half time.
Right. So I actually come down to the Marine Hall today. I actually wanted to get a interview with Ian Hooper. There he is. I will be grabbing him shortly, but I've got a young chap called Connor here. All right, Connor?
Hello, you okay?
And basically, it's another community field again, which, funnily enough, I've just had Blackburn Rovers Community Trust on the phone to me, Ray. Everything's going good for the podcast, obviously, at their side. And Connor here show them the leaflet and tell us what you're all about there.
So I work for Blackpool Volunteer Centre. We run a provision at Fleetwood Youth Hub called Positive Futures. So we're funded by Wyre Council, the local government, and we support 16 to 64-year-olds who are economically inactive. That's what the professional term is. So anybody that is out of work, education, employment, who just needs that extra bit of support, whether it's confidence building, CV writing, job searching, we'll do everything. But we also look at the wellbeing side of things as well. So we'll host a wellbeing bingo, or we'll be doing life skills courses, whether it's DIY, cooking. We do literally absolutely everything.
Sounds like it's all obviously all community based. It's all for people of different inactive skills, if you would,
yeah.
And just to help and boost them. I mean, you come down yourself for potentially being on the radio, is that right?
Well, it wasn't my intention of being here. I wanted to spread the message of positive futures, but Coastal Radio here ended up having a fantastic conversation with them. And they've said that there's potential that we can continue spreading the word of positive futures. So
yeah, no, it's all good. Cheers, Connor. Thank you very much.
No,
I'm going to have a word with Ian now and get the music spin on things. But yeah, it's nice to have that community feel. Obviously, Shabs was down here before. She's part of the manager, isn't she?
Yeah, she's the
really
coordinator of the project. Yeah.
I didn't realise, to be honest, I've known her for a while, but I didn't know how in depth some of the work that she does. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, well done, Connor. Cheers for
Thank
that.
you very much. Cheers.
Come to Marine Hall here, the careers fair, yeah? And I've just been speaking to a few people, Teddy and Connor, but I've got the DJ, Ian Hooper, with me, and he's been here all day, hasn't he?
Since 8 this morning.
Since 8 this
with
morning.
My good friend, Mr. Andy Bolton, station manager, Coastal Radio. I'm one of the presenters, and I'm delighted to be finally on a little podcast with this man here.
Yeah, no, nice one. And thank you for having me on the old radio station, first of all.
Pleasure.
I should have started with that, Ian, but...
Don't worry.
But yeah, hopefully I'm going to get back on there as well. I've got a new album coming out this year. But yeah, it's been good. Obviously, we spoke to Shabs before, just a minute ago. She's community feel factor. And I got a little interview with Connor, which is going to go out on my podcast this weekend.
Good. My company, that's from Polton Industrial Estate, is our base. But we also operate in about 6 primary schools now as well.
Right. It'd be nice of me, to come down there maybe and get a bit of, get some of the younger fellas on there and get them on the podcast and
Absolutely, yeah. Well, my kids, we're about over 300 a week. I think it's about 350 now. They range from about 7 or 8 years, really, all the way. Well, our oldest student is 82. So all the way, really.
Yeah, I might end up needing. Teddy, the engineer guy. That's what I need. I've been needing an engineer to work on my music.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to come here and tap you up for.
All right.
But maybe Teddy might be.
Yeah, we're chocolate at the moment. We can't fit it in, but maybe Teddy would be the guy. But yeah, you need to keep going with your music. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Cheers, Ian. Nice to meet you, first of all.
And you.
And nice to be on my podcast. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. See you soon, guys.
Revisiting episode 14 with yourself, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I went to the FA Cup game against Wolves down at Ewa Park, and obviously captured a lot of the community feel. And then, for some reason or another, and Ray knows, obviously, I'm a bit of a roaming reporter. I go and find people, and for some reason it works. You know what I mean? And
chased you into the toilet, Stephen. It's nice to meet you. Yeah,
he did.
Let's say it how it is. Yeah.
I've been accosted in stranger places, but
fair enough.
All for a good reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I seen you getting interviewed by the BBC. I think it was Alistair, wasn't it, the big tall guy?
I believe that was his name. Yeah.
And following that, I was like, I wanted to know. I was trying to listen in. I couldn't actually quite hear what the conversation was, but then I college in the toilet, and obviously got you on the episode 14 of a podcast. And obviously the community trust and the BBC are backing you in your, bereaved fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Will you just tell us a little bit more about that, please? Stephen?
Yeah, so it's a group that's only been going for a couple of months. So we're talking sort of October, November last year. Two of the local charities up my way, so we're in Blackburn with Darwin. Two of the local charities, so there's Friends of Serenity and Maggie's Stillborn Legacy. They've come together and created a dad's group for bereaved fathers in the local area. As I said on the video when I met you at Rovers, there's a real focus on the mothers. There's a real focus on what they go through child loss, and rightfully so. Obviously, they go through so much mentally, physically. It can really affect the mothers. The dads not really get left aside as such, but there's certainly a lot less out there for us in terms of support, in terms of people to speak to and places to go. So as I say, Friends of Serenity and Maggie's Stillborn Legacy, they created this Friday night group of football for people to come together, have a bit of a game, have a bit of a kick about, go for a drink afterwards, just have an outlet to speak about your situation, speak about your story.
And talk about your loss, obviously.
Yeah.
I talked to you prior, obviously, to the show and off air, and unfortunately, you lost your child prior to being born at 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
10 weeks ago.
10 days. 10 days.
10 days. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just on the cusp, we were basically. It could have happened at any point. She could have arrived at any point. At the point we did lose her, so yeah, it was really, really late on in the story.
How long ago was that, Stephen? If you don't mind me asking.
No, it's all right. I'm an open book for anything like this. So it was June last year.
Right.
So we're still, it was 8 months exactly yesterday. And so 8 months has flown by. It really, really has. Since losing her, yeah.
And you're sharing obviously a lot with what you're benefiting from with the community support at Blackburn and what's happening there. I've got another question just quickly, and then I'll be quiet for a bit. But why do you think it is? So the first thing that came to me was when you said, dads perhaps don't get support. You quite eloquently put that mums do and they should. So I think that was a beautifully put point.
Thank you.
Why do you think it is that perhaps dads don't as much? I know that's a negative question, but why do you feel perhaps the support hasn't been there? It's good it's there now in this example.
Yeah. It's hard to say really. I guess because the mother carries and the mother is immediately bonded from day one of finding out that they're pregnant. The dad doesn't really create any bond until the baby's here. You can speak to them when they're in the womb. You can sing to them. You can whatever, but you don't really grow that bond until they're here. So it's hard to say really. I don't know enough about other people's situations to know. I only really know my situation. But it's important that it is there, and it's important that it grows from what it is right now to a much larger support network for dads. For example, the group we're going to talk about, there's 9 of us at the moment, and Blackburn with Darwin as a town, as 2 towns together, it's quite a large town. So you're not telling me there's only 9 dads who have gone through loss.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot more people out there that definitely need support, and it's finding that support is the first step. First step is finding it, stepping through that door, and knowing we're there, and then we can help and support from there.
And I think there's going to be a continuation with this as well, isn't there, Stephen? Obviously, the BBC are covering it. I think you told me it's going to go out on the is it the 26th of Feb?
26th, I believe. Yeah. So I'm not too sure when in the programme on the breakfast show, but it runs from 6 o'clock till 9 in the morning. I think it is. So yeah, we're going to be on there. I imagine it'll probably run a couple of times, and then it'll be on the website, and you'll be able to find the clips and stuff like that. So hopefully we can really use that to kind of generate a lot of interest and get a lot of people kind of talking about it, sharing it, and really spread the word for us.
Yeah, it's similar. Sorry, Bray. Similar to what we're doing. Obviously, with Sing When You're Winning podcast. I go to other different clubs. Obviously with the Community Trust at Blackburn. and with BBC involved as well, you could go further with other clubs, with other bereaved parents, you know.
Yeah, so well, it turned out we were speaking on Friday with the girl from Fahima from the Trust, and it turns out Blackburn Rovers are the only club who have put their name to any group linked to bereavement and bereaved fathers.
Yeah.
So there's other support groups out there for dads. For example, there's a really big one up in Sunderland that Sarah from Maggie Stillborn Legacy told me about. They've got 2 teams. There's 30 odd people all come together, but Sunderland up that way are nothing to do with them. So
Right.
So Blackburn are the only club who have actually put their name to a club to a group like ours.
Yeah.
So again, like, as you said before about the community feel about the club, that really shows how much they care and how much they want to be involved in the local community. Yeah.
Oh, it was brilliant. You know, I mean, the day out last week, apart from the cancelled train, Stephen, on the day, which was unfortunate. You know what I mean? Can't help that. It was brilliant, mate. I love the community feel that Blackburn's got. The fan zone was great.
Yep.
And I like the fact that they can even let you go out for a smoke as well. The setup there is really good. There, really good. Go on, Ray.
It's so good, isn't it? I think it's so easy to look from the outside in. My part in mine and Little Oggy's Sing When You're Winning podcast is almost as an observer at times, Stephen. And I love the game. I absolutely love the game. I do really feel it's the beautiful game. But one thing I'm learning through what we're doing, which is good, is meeting people like yourself and finding out about the things that are happening, because it's easy to look at football as it's a bit like music. You just look at it from the outside as, it's about the game, but there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes. And I think this is just such an incredible thing, because I'm not saying this lightly. It is, of course, goes without saying, tragically, it happens. I think when you said earlier, is it only 9 people in your local area, nine dads in your local area? Well, highly likely not, tragically. So therefore, the outcome of that is the positive way that yourself and the support group and the others come in, and the way you're amplifying this for potentially other clubs and trying to create that broader network, because that's going to make a massive difference to the lives of others. And the fans of football clubs are made up of so many different people who have so many different experiences, including bereavement. So I just want to say that in this moment, I'm observing firsthand the movement of many, many special things that are happening. So I think the more we can add voices to that, the better. I want to just ask a question, if I can. If you could sum up in the time. So was it June last year, you said?
June last year,
yeah. June last year. How has this arrangement, this support mechanism, how has it benefited you? How would you sum up how it's helped you and others that you've observed?
Yeah, so in the initial kind of 3-4 months after my daughter, I didn't really have anyone to speak to. I didn't know anyone else who'd gone through it. Like I said, there was mothers groups, there was support groups for my partner to go and speak to and be involved in, but there's no one for me to go to. So you're talking July, August, September, October. I basically didn't have a chance to speak to anyone about it apart from some counselling I was doing, but no kind of like direct contact with someone another dad who had lost a child. So it kind of propped up on Facebook one day a bit out of the blue. And I love playing football. I've played football all my life. I'm involved in coaching. Like football's my passion. I love it. So when I saw it pop up, and my main fear was that it was going to be a bit kumbaya sort of thing. You all sit in a circle and we all say our stories and we all say how sad we feel. And it's not that. It's like the very first session was not intimidating as such. I did know one person going that I'd met just prior. But it was certainly, it was very worrying of who might show up and what might they be like and what's their story and are we going to fit together? Are we alike? And it turned out that that very first session, I think there was 5 of us, and we're all in the same boat. Some of us had lost a bit more recent. Some of us had lost. I think one lad lost 10 years ago. So 10 years on and still needing that support kind of just shows how little there's been for bereaved fathers locally, nationally. It's been fantastic, really, because every week I can have a terrible week. I can get to Friday and think, brilliant, Friday football. Go have a good kick about, have a good run about, go for a pint afterwards. And if you want to talk about your week, you can. If you just want to talk about the footy that's on, we can. If you want to give each other a bit of a jip and you just have a crack, you can. It doesn't necessarily have to be, we're all so sad, let's talk about it. It can just be lads getting together, shooting the crack and just supporting each other a little bit and bringing each other up a little bit. It doesn't necessarily always need to be down in the dumps. Talk about feelings.
That's what obviously I've noticed how the way you come across, Stephen. Obviously when I went to the Blackburn game, you touched on that. You know what I mean? You go to a game to enjoy yourself, and you do let a little bit of feelings out.
Yeah.
But with that said, you know what I mean? You let them out, and you know what I mean? You can explode a little bit, and then you feel better afterwards as long as you win. Like,
not so much in that FA Cup game. Wasn't our best game getting any emotion out of that one, sadly.
No, but you know what I'm saying. With going to any football game, I always say win, lose or draw. You know what I mean? You go there. Sometimes you can be in a bad state of mind, and you could come away in a better state of mind, or vice versa. You know what I mean? You could go in a bad state of mind, in a good state of mind, and come out. Obviously, you lose, and but you know that's the emotions of football, and I think obviously emotions and football and community feel, it's brilliant. You know what I mean? It's really good.
Amazing. And I think what you're doing with any experience in life, it's taking it and turning it into the best it can be from that challenge, that darkness at the time. And I love what you said. I thought I totally resonated with that when you said about it's not all come by our. When you said when you said it, I thought I know exactly what you mean, and I thought it's a brilliant way of summing it up. So
I wouldn't, but I was going to burst into that song.
Yeah, well, we all could. I've got a guitar behind me, so
my Lord, come by.
We'll all join in together. So, I think. What about the football side of things, the community? Blackburn, I'm a little bit out of touch, to be honest with you, but I think things are going reasonably well at the moment. FA Cup game to one side.
2 on the spin.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird couple of weeks. So our manager left, despite we're 6th, and our manager went to Derby. So John Eustace, he used to play for Derby, but at the back end of his career, he's got family down there. And obviously Derby is struggling a little bit, so him going from a promotion battle to a relegation battle is quite controversial. Obviously, there's a lot of blame at the feet of the Venkies. We'd need a whole other show to a whole other hour to go over that one.
Like many clubs, many clubs.
Yeah. So there's a lot of blame at their feet, and at the board, Steve Wagger, and all these guys that are quite high up, and a lot of the things they've told managers and previous managers that turned out to be untrue and lies, and they've promised things that they turned out to not follow through on. So I can kind of understand his point in terms of leaving, but it is a bit gutting that he's gone when he's gone. But we were in quite bad form under him, so for him to leave and then our caretaker manager to win 2 games on a row, one away to West Brom, they were unbeaten in 11 at home, and Plymouth had obviously just beaten Liverpool, just beaten Millwall 5-1. So to come to our gap and for us to beat them 2-0, that's 2 really good results back to back. So hopefully it's a bit of a galvaniser for us.
Yeah,
definitely. It can really bring you together, because there's something Eustace said, and I quite liked it, about not being victims.
Oh.
And I thought that's quite a good way of looking at it. Like when things go against you, don't be a victim. Like just fight through it, push through it.
So true.
And you could have felt like victims after we left. you could have felt like, oh well, we've been let down now, tools down for the rest of the season, but we've not. We fought through 2 wins and a spin, keep us pushing up. So, playoffs are looking hopeful. They are looking hopeful.
Who are you thinking, Stephen, for manager? Who are you thinking? Who would you like yourself? I know Kenny Dalglish was down there yesterday.
He was. He was.
I don't think he's going to take over.
He's done his day. He's done his day. Yeah.
He's done his bit.
He has, but David Moyes came back at Everton. You know what I mean? He's doing all right.
Big time.
I don't think Kenny Dalglish would take over, but who would you personally think?
It's quite tough, really, because given where we are in the season, you need someone who can come in and maintain. You can't come in and make sweeping changes right now. There's not enough time to implement that as a format, as a formation, as a style of play. I'm not 100% who I take, to be honest. I've seen a few names. So Rob Edwards, I've seen linked to at Luton.
Yeah.
Did a cracking job getting them promoted. Struggled a bit this season and got fired. Richie Wellens, I've seen linked from Leyton Orient, who are doing quite well.
Yeah, we just beat them in the FA Cup, funnily enough.
Just about. Just about.
I've seen.
You knew that was coming.
Gary O'Neill's been linked. Obviously, was at Wolves and Bournemouth. I feel like he got a bit of a short end at stick at Wolves. They were playing some nice stuff, but didn't quite get the results. So I'm not too sure where I lean, to be honest. It's quite tricky.
And when you say somebody coming in and not changing too many things, what about the people that have just took over for the last 2 games, So
it's David Law, who's, I think he's been I don't know how long he's been at Rovers, but he's been there a long, long time, involved in the club. I think he's been involved in the youth setup and the senior setup. He's been just one of these who has his hands on everything and touches everything. He's obviously very experienced.
He's already within the club,
Yeah. I've seen people saying, if you go and win 2 or 3 more games under him, why not give it in for rest of the season?
Yeah.
And see what I can do with it. I guess the problem there is that it's very, very temporary.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, if you don't go up, he's going to get shifted back off, and it kind of feels
I think that's fair play. Fair play. You start again, then, don't you? It's a new season. Yeah. I'll be honest. Not that I obviously like Man United or anything, but I think they messed up with Van Nistelrooy. I think they should have kept him.
Give him a bit more time.
Yeah, good job. Similar to these, obviously. Sorry, I forgot the name that you said, Stephen. The one that just took over caretaker.
David Law. David Law is called.
Yeah, I personally, I'd probably continue with him.
Steady ship. Steady the ship. Yeah. Steady the ship.
I think it's what you need. Like you go through such a change of a manager leaving at such a crucial part of the season. Your ship's already been unsteadied. And you need that hand to immediately calm everything down, an experienced hand who knows how to speak to the players, how to galvanise the players. Maybe he's the man. We've won 2 on the spin in 2 games. You wouldn't have expected us to get a point out of perhaps definitely West Brom, maybe a point out of Plymouth, but to go and get 6.
Yeah.
And we're now. I think we're 4 points clear of the next team down. So you're at that point.
I looked at it before. I think you're 9 points off 4th, which is obviously playoff position.
Yeah, there's a big gap from us to them 4 at the top.
9 points.
So we're definitely looking at that 5th and 6th spot. But there's about 8 teams within that, a very short gap. So the Championship's very tasty. It's very, very tasty.
Yeah. I've got a couple of questions to kind of bring us into the conclusion of our discussion here together. Really grateful for your time, Stephen, because
no problem.
I know you also rearranged things to meet this time and match this time, so that's fantastic.
Any opportunity to talk about what we do in the programme, I'll take it. It needs the exposure, and it needs people to know about it. Yeah.
And I think it'd be great to have that thought for potentially the future, if that's okay, Paul. I think it'd be great to have a chat back with Stephen again at some point in the future to keep that message going.
100%.
Definitely. Obviously, Fatima at the Community Trust, she's actually invited me down, Stephen, to come and have a kickabout with you.
Yeah. Come down, get involved, mate. Absolutely. It's a good run out.
That's amazing.
That is brilliant, Ray. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just, in the first half, Stephen, obviously, before you came on for the second half, I was talking, I did talk to you actually prior to the show that I played on Friday night. I'm still feeling it now, I'll be honest. But, you know, it's nice still to get out there and do bit. And it is good for your mental health as well, just having a kick about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You always feel so much better after that good run out, bit of a sweat. Get all the endorphins pumping. I always, like, Friday night, no matter how crap of a week I've had, if it's been really, really busy at work or I've been mentally not the best, I know I'm going to enjoy Friday night. It's always a good run out.
That's brilliant. I want to put this thought in before perhaps then, Paul, if you want to kind of take out the outro for us, if you get me in a conversation. And the one question that's burning in my mind is there are things that people feel incredibly uncomfortable and awkward talking about. And of course that's understandable, and bereavement and child bereavement particularly is one of those. So I just wondered, without making you feel that you're telling people what to do, my philosophy is quite simple. It's better to say something than nothing. If ever you're finding, like, you have a family friend or a relative who's lost a child, and grief, loss, bereavement generally, and you think, what do I say? Or somebody's got a critical illness, and you think, what do I say? I always think it's better. Jimmy Carr, the comedian, Jimmy Carr says it's better to say something. Yeah, it's better to say something. Just call a friend and say, look, I don't know what to say. Is there anything that you could add to that? Because sometimes it's difficult and awkward for people around somebody who they know, that person who's lost a child. Is there anything you could perhaps help us with to know how people can navigate that who haven't experienced it?
It is tough, don't get me wrong. So obviously, prior to Freya, I didn't know anyone who'd lost.
Yeah.
So going through the journey, it's been the learning process from day one of how to deal with it and when to feel things and how to feel things. One of the biggest things, especially around child loss, and my partner really pushes on this, is saying the name. Don't be afraid to include them in cards, for example. When you write a birthday card to someone, don't be afraid to include the name. When you do get a chance to speak to them, don't be afraid to ask about them. Don't be afraid to ask questions about what they look like or what they might be doing right now. Like, try and include them as much as you can, because they're still part of our family. Mm-hmm. And they might not be here, and they might not be in the way we want them to be, but we still carry them. We still carry them in our hearts and our heads.
Yeah.
So it's important to ask about them and to include them as much as you can. And if you ever think like, oh, I feel really bad, I shouldn't say something, think how they feel.
Yeah.
Think how bad they feel in that moment, and how a message from you, no matter who you are to them, if you've not spoke for years, think how much that could make them smile in that moment. That, oh, I've not spoken to them for ages. Oh, that's amazing, they've messaged me. I think back to when we first lost Freya, and we put like a little thing on social media, and then just asked for privacy, and turned the phones off for a good sort of 6 hours. Come back to hundreds of messages, people I haven't spoke to since school, since college, since uni. So you're talking sort of 10, 12 years, 13 years. And then I haven't spoken to them since.
That's a shame.
So they're the first to be at the door. Yeah. It's the first at the door when the issue's there, and then when that continuous support is needed, which it is. They go. They're not that invested in actually supporting. So I think it's important to maintain, do your best to maintain that relationship and just check in every other week, every couple of weeks.
Well, I'll definitely be checking in with you, Stephen. That's for sure.
I appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that.
I think that's really powerful and incredibly practical. As I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, perish the thought I have that experience, but obviously with yourself now and your explanation of Freya, and your openness in terms of how other people can navigate that. And of course, the loss is never gone. The loss
No,
is never
the loss,
gone. Does that make
permanent.
sense? That's
Yeah.
that's my way of translating that. So therefore, it's good to show that love, that concern. But of course, that's an ongoing thing. And
Yeah.
I think with what you're doing with the support work and your own experience and you wanting to promote that and keep that alive, then that's really so powerful and so practical. Where there is such a need, and thank you, Stephen. So yeah,
Thank you.
Paul, I think if you wanted to kind of conclude with,
I will conclude.
maybe also talking a little bit about your expectation for, is it this coming Friday that you're joining? Is that right? You're joining or you might be, or a Friday.
If I'm going to speak to Fee again, obviously, I'd love to come down. It's only down the road, you know what I mean? I went there last time. I won't be getting the train this time. Bloody cancelled. But me and Stephen talked off air before the show, obviously, and obviously I touched on the 22B song that I've done, and you know, the fact that we was okay, I felt happy but guilty at the same time, and I think, you know, the similarities to that kind of emotion, if you would, and obviously people lost their lives. We were lucky, and they wasn't. You know, it's a sad world, you know what I mean, that we live in. But yeah, I think I'm going to try and get in touch with Fee with the Community Trust, and possibly try and get in touch with the BBC as well about sharing my past, like obviously with the 22B song that I've got out, and trying to get that out. Obviously, I suffered a little bit with the PTSD, and I'm going to bring the song out again as a charity song for monies to go to PTSD.
Amazing.
And hopefully, like I say, if I speak to Fee there, and maybe that Alistair, the big tall fella from BBC, and you know, obviously they are good at incorporating stuff like this. So if you know, we'll talk off air off this with this, Stephen. But yeah, it'd be great if I can come down and have a kick about with you.
Absolutely, mate. Come down, get involved.
On Friday.
And you never know, I might. You never know, I might. I might too.
Come down.
Everyone's
welcome.
Bring out the old midfield silky skills, yeah.
Hopefully, City bring some silky skills on against Madrid in the week. We're going to finish. The outro is going to be some of the City coverage that I got yesterday, and against Madrid in midweek when we lost, unfortunately. But it's good coverage, and the outro music is going to be "It's Not All About You," you know. And I think it's a good song to go out with, and we'll all hope and pray, you know, obviously that City can come back again and Blackburn go up as well.
Absolutely. Rovers away next year at Etihad. That's what we want.
Yeah, well, definitely. I have. Do you remember when City actually went up, and obviously they all mobbed the place at City at Ewood, and they've got that hill behind it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that were about what, 18 years, 20 years ago, or something stupid like that. I think when City was really coming back on the up. Like, yeah, I was there. It was unbelievable that day. It was unbelievable.
I've just made the link as well. I've just made the link, of course. I used to play for you.
For Blackburn?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Shearer.
Right. I normally touch on it, and I usually say my co-host, aka Alan Tuber.
That's it. You're welcome for all those goals, Stephen. You're welcome for all those goals. It was no problem at all, you know.
Appreciate that, thank you.
That's all right, matey. I can't do the accent. Yeah.
Episode 14, I got Chris Sutton to do a little interview, and I said, "Yeah, S&S, your old striking partner."
Yeah. Brilliant. You couldn't write it, could you?
No, but yeah, right. it's been a really good show. Another really good one with content and mental health and obviously awareness of bereavement fathers. And cheers, Stephen, for for coming on the show.
Appreciate you having me, guys. Appreciate you having me. It's you don't get often the chance to talk about what we're doing. So, like I said before, just the chance to speak about it and spread that awareness and other people to know we're here. And they can come to us and they can be part of our group and we can help support each other.
You've been brilliant, mate, and you've come across really well. Really well. I will hopefully come down and have a kick about with you.
Please do. Please do.
Fantastic. Cheers, Stephen.
Thank you.
Love.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
See you.